Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I found I would say, disturbing article. Why? Because the article makes some claims and reports certain things that Zelensky just did. They reminded me of some awful events that occurred during the Second World War. And let's read this article, and maybe you will have the same feeling, or maybe it's just crazy me that sees it that way. So this article comes from Ukrainska Pravda from February 4th, 2023. This is the title. Zelensky signs documents about people found to have Russian citizenship. Now, those documents could be decrees, could be law, not law, he doesn't have the power to have a law, but they call it documents to make it, sound a little bit better. What do you mean? Science document about people found to have Russian citizenship. Are you going to classify people based on their group membership? And then what? So are you going to identify each and every person in Ukraine that has maybe dual citizenship? And what are you going to do with them? Well, let's find out. President Volodymyr Zelensky has signed documents regarding people who were found to have Russian citizenship. Okay, and I hope you don't go where I think you're going at. And this is what Zelensky said. Please pay attention to the words. Today I signed the relevant documents to take another step to protect and cleanse our state from those on the side of the aggressor. So he's going to cleanse our state. That means make it what? Pure? Is that what you mean, Zelensky? Are you going to cleanse the state? Now this cleanse our state from those on the side of the aggressor reminded me of two groups that in the Second World War at least were persecuted by some because of the same reason, calling them, pests and all that, and they committed atrocities. Now, but that's me. That's how I see it. And then there is a request from the security service regarding persons who were recorded as having Russian citizenship. So what are you going to do with them? Are you going to do this with them? You know what this is? This is an internment camp, a concentration camp of Japanese Americans who had their origin in Japan. And when the Second World War broke up, when Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, right, 7th of December, then what happened? They were put in camps. And the problem is that they kept them here so they do not do something against the state, the United States. But you know what happened after that? After the war, they were left, back into the society. And then I think in about 2004, 2001 or 1990 something, whomever survived this, they were given about $15,000, if I remember correctly, payment to pay for all this. So that means if they got paid by the US government, that means the US government agreed that this was wrong. So it was wrong to do this in the time of war. So then I go to this again. And this is a time of war. What are you going to do with the guys with the Russian citizenship? Zelensky, he tells us right here, to protect and cleanse our state. Now that reminds me of a different group. Right here. Do you remember this? This was what the Nazis did to this group. They had them marked with the Star of David. And whenever they were walking outside, they had to wear it. So they could be identified by the Nazi authorities that they were a certain kind of group. And then what did they do to this? They took them to concentration camps. And the rest, you know what happened, right? Now I know I might be jumping the gun here, right? And here again, awful and awful, right? Awful and awful and awful and okay? But maybe, as I said, I'm just crazy, but I don't think so. As I say, and not I say, but that little word, or first the a trip or a journey starts with the first step. Well, I don't think this is the first step. I think it's more like the 3,429th step already for this guy right here. But I'm pretty sure the Americans will realize what's going on and will protest about the, how do you call this? Documents signed. I know Hitler signs documents as well with the same kind of purpose. So, again, this cleanse our state. Anyway, there is a request from the security services regarding persons who were recorded as having Russian citizenship. Right? All right? Okay, is the same thing? I don't know. Now, as Zelensky has said, another legal step, I'm quoting Zelensky, will be taken to implement the sanctions decisions. You know what implement means? Put them in practice. Follow through. What is that? So you first identify those people who have Russian citizenship, and then you implement the sanctions. What could be the sanctions? I wonder. And you say, well, Emily, it's just in your imagination. Okay, all right. Maybe that's the same thing other people thought at the beginning, Anyway, and we are working to synchronize our sanctions decisions with partner jurisdictions. What could that be, jurisdictions? The enemies of the free world have no right, I'm quoting Zelensky, to use the free world for their own interest. Does this sound like free world to you? Does this sound like free world to you? And cleanse our state from those on the side of the aggressor? Is this what happened here? Huh? I know I went to this, but this is what when he said cleanse, I signed documents based on group membership. I said, what's next then? And he said we were going to synchronize with jurisdiction and implement. These are just, how do I put it, euphemisms, beautiful words to conceal something else. I can give you the words I think they have in mind, but I can't say it because it's just that maybe they're not looking and not thinking that way. So then I don't want to again, say, okay, Emil, you go too far with your craziness. I hope they don't go over there. But remember, those documents that he signed will give certain kind of jurisdictions the legal ability, the power to go and round up whomever has a Russian citizenship and ask them questions, if you know what I mean. And who knows? You see, that's very evasive. It's just general. I would like to see the details, but it's Ukrainska Pravda that gives us this evasive. And his speech, but because Zelensky said that, I just quoted him, because Ukrainska Pravda just put that in their article. I would like to see what's in the exact documents that he signed. And we will find out. I'm waiting for these guys in the United States and the free world to have a little bit their hair on their legs popping up and say, what the is going on? Remember, when the Russians, the evil Russians, one of the reasons that they mentioned that they invaded or they started their military operation, special military operation, was what? They claimed that they will denazify Ukraine. Well, Zelensky wants to cleanse the state of the people that might support the aggressor. All these things. Once you give an inch, you get the whole thing. I hope it doesn't happen, but it's not only this. He barred certain kind of newspapers, he barred certain kind of schools, he barred certain kind of books, he barred certain kind of political parties. He barred a lot of things that look very similar to the other guy. I'm not trying to say, this is that guy, but it's just I can't, I mean, if there's an evidence or it's just, we'll find out. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.